So we finally made it back to the time frame where we were aiming for. Our goal is to go and join up with the previous campaign's adventuring party before they go and fight the big bad, which is this void monster. We've arrived in this temperate rainforest that's on the, is it western, southern border?
Western and, or it's southwestern, yeah.
Southwestern border of the Empire of Endless Flowers, the greatest civilization in the world. But this is, it's off on the borderlands. It's a realm of barbarians, elves in particular, barbarous elves. We arrive in the wood, and right now Kalinar's adventuring party is in Greywall. We have Kalinar with us, so he's like, "Where were you at this time and date?" And he's like, "Well, we were in Greywall, or Grey Bridge. Yeah, Grey Bridge. Not.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
We're just wrapping up a side quest and. Right after this is when we found out where the big bad was.
Yeah, and we sort of scoffed at his party for getting sidetracked by side quests when there's important end of the world things to deal with, like what
like you guys are properly dealing.
Yeah, we're doing important stuff here. Yeah, we want to make sure there's no loose ends. It's important. So yeah, we figured we'd head for Greybridge. I don't even know what direction we were traveling in. We decided how we were going to get to Greybridge. Were we going to go to there was like some sort of underground railroad for the slaves that was going there? We were going to follow that?
I'm not sure if you had a plan. At least I wasn't aware of any plan.
Yeah. We never got to our plan, whatever it was. So
the underground railroad for the slaves started after the war, I think. So.
Okay, so that wouldn't exist yet. All right, I think we had a plan, but it doesn't matter. It never does. So we camped, and then during the night, we were roused from our slumber by our alarm spell that serendipity goes right on top of the tower starts back. Dindalair has passed. Oh, there's an elf with their bows and leaves in their hair and whatever it is elves do. And he's like being all superior and haughty as elves do about how, you've trespassed in our lands. Are you, Eve supporters and other stuff like that.
What are you doing here?
Yeah, basically.
And there's a war going on. Eve is the greatest nation ever. I represent the...
I wouldn't call them Eve. That's a slur. The Empire is the greatest nation. Yeah, anyway. But no, I didn't get into that. I didn't get into that. Everyone else was talking, as is typical. We started talking with this elf. John had made a bit of a slip-up before he realized that the alarm spell would only trigger for one elf. He'd said, it triggers for, there's like 10 elves. And we were like, but this thing only triggers for one thing. It's like, it only triggered once. There's only one elf here. So, yeah.
Ignore the flitting shadow.
Yeah, we never did notice them in character until, we'll get to that. But anyway, but that was fine. So we talk with this guy, and we're trying to convince him that we're safe and friendly and not crazy at all. Mm-hmm. But the problem is, of course, we've got Croesus with us, and we've got Aurora with us. Mm-hmm. They won't shut up.
Well, and he was trying to determine, why would you be here if you're not, a friend of the elves, and you're not the Eve? What are you doing here? You must be on some mission. Yeah. And Aurora said that they were just passing through time.
And then Croesus added, but it's okay, because it's all a dream we're having, and stuff like that. And so the elves started going you're passing through time in a dream. Deep, man. Whoa.
You've got to come back and talk to the elder.
Yeah.
And they're like,
we don't really have wavelength, man. Mm-hmm. It turns out elves are hippies. Yeah. At least these particular elves are hippies.
Yeah. Well, the wild elves split off from the regular elves to go back to nature, because the regular elves got so into magic. That's what created both the earth and all the disasters. And they're like, let's just go back to nature, go back to what's natural. None of this civilization stuff.
Let's hit the surface up, dude.
Well, they weren't quite like that.
But they were definitely... But the thing that really intrigued him was passing through time, and he said, you should come back and meet our elder, and they're like, whatever. And he was like, don't you know where you are? I'm offering to take you to the city of the mists. And they're like... I think someone...
Cricket would probably have known about it since it was on the borderlands.
Yeah, people made their checks and knew about the City of the Mist, which was created during world building, I think by Ferret.
Yeah.
I don't remember that, actually.
He did a bunch of elf stuff. I actually didn't remember it either, but...
He made the Wild Elves, and the Wild Elves They split off, and they made City of the Mist, which is a misty area of the forest. No one can find it unless they've been led there.
Okay.
And I don't know if did he tell them that? Yeah, he told them. No, they knew this from the thing. They have a grove there where it's said that if you fall asleep in this grove, you have these prophetic dreams of the past, the future, and the present, and they're always perfectly accurate, but they're extremely difficult to interpret.
Okay.
And this was just part of world building, so it's something that they knew.
Right.
And he's like, if you're having a dream about passing through time, you gotta come and sleep in the grove. Like,
Yeah.
you guys, come on, let's go.
Yeah.
So then everyone thought this was actually pretty cool, so they're like,
Yeah.
okay, and plus, they arrived 30 days before the event, because that's,
Right.
like, they can't control it precisely. And so
Right.
they actually had a bunch of time to kill. So they're like, I guess, why not?
Well, I mean, they could gain an advantage in their quest by going and getting
We
prophetic
get
vision.
some prophetic visions and stuff. We might be able to find out what the future is like. Yeah. Prophetic visions are slightly less impressive when you've been there. Yeah, been there.
So you
done
can
that.
test them.
It's true. Find out whether these elves actually have
Like,
any.
Tell me what I did on May the 4th. You're like, oh yeah, checks out. You're like the diagnostic specialists.
Which hand am I holding up 3 days from now?
Didn't happen.
Yeah. Anyway, so we head off with this guy and his 9 brethren we don't know anything about. And,
Yeah, I had them do some checks, but yeah. The other guys were just following through the woods, but they never found out.
Yeah. Along the way, he's like trying to talk up his elven lifestyle, and like offers us some wild elf cuisine.
Remember, he saw, what was it? He was talking about the mushrooms. Don't eat the mushrooms, because they're really disgusting.
So Hank ate one.
Then there was something else he said don't eat. It was, this moss is really cool, but don't touch it, it'll suck your hand right in.
And Hank already had his hand stuck in it.
And they're like, why do you live here? He's like, I don't know. But in the end, he recommended, he told Hank, here, try some bark jerky. And so
Hank was like crunching on this really awful piece of bark.
And I had everyone make an insight check, because he was like, oh, this is awful, but he didn't want to offend or I don't know, whatever.
Yeah.
Everyone made an insight check, and 2 people made it. I think it was Cricket and Serendipity.
Could be.
And they noticed that when he like gave him the, here's to try some bark jerky, he was like, like totally
It's just a piece of bark, yeah.
But no one told Hank.
Yeah.
They just let him keep eating the bark jerky.
Yeah. Serves him right, really.
Try our strange elven cuisine.
The number of times Hank has just spontaneously eaten something that was horrific. He's exceeded Cora's record at this point.
Well, he's a culinary visionary.
So anyway, we finally make it to the City of the Mists, and there's this elven elder there. Oh?
Oh, so I was just gonna say it's like an elven city of trees, all connected by bridges, in like a dome of non-mistiness.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Wow. Like,
wow, you said
Wow,
you were an
geez.
expert, but like
Yeah.
I didn't realize.
Man, it's gone. What happened? Wow.
Suddenly feels so small.
Yeah. I mean, I know I've been talking and stuff, so that slows me down, but I've barely got started.
So there's this elvish elder who wants you to go see.
Yeah. And we asked what his name is.
and his name?
Elven word.
It was totally unintentional.
It's actually spelled like, weird or something.
I
with a
wanted
Y
it to have elven in it, but the word was just like, it's W-Y-R-D. I just didn't think of it. And once it came out of my mouth, there was no backsies.
Yep.
So everyone was like, elven words, snicker, snicker, snicker. And he's just like, they always do this. Look, it's just a coincidence, okay? It means something very meaningful in Elvish.
Yep. It's a legitimate elven word. I think
I just decided to run with it.
It's entirely fair, given that they tricked Hank into eating bark jerky, that we can now make fun of their elder's name.
So they go to see Elven Word, and they're all snickering, and he's
Word
just
up.
like, outsiders always do this. And Hank was sitting, I think Hank was still crunching on on the bark jerky. And the elder was like, did you give him bark jerky? Or did you give them bark jerky again? And he just shakes his head, and then when no one can see, he was like...
So yeah, this all just basically supports the thesis. Elves are horrible and awful in every way. Not as bad as dwarves, but still.
The elder, they begin meeting with him. I don't know if he started the meeting, but he says, all right, you guys must be famished. Yogurts and granola all around.
Yes.
So they bring everyone yogurt and granola. Much better than the bark jerky. And then he starts talking with the party.
Yeah. All about, like, visions and through time and dreaming and blah, 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 blah.
But when Croesus starts talking about how this is all a dream and he's a dreamer, Elvenberg gets really, like, into this. Like,
he's like,
maybe this is all a dream. Maybe this is someone's prophetic dream and I'm just, like, the dream version of myself. And the only way for you to like, end the dream, maybe if you sleep in the grove, it'll end the dream. Or maybe it won't. I don't know. He was really...
His mind was blown.
Yeah, he was totally, like, in it for whatever Croesus had to say.
Yeah.
And he thought the party should definitely all try to sleep in the grove. Or at least Croesus should.
Yeah.
But he figured someone else should sleep in there first to ask the question of whether it would be a good idea for Croesus to sleep in the grove, just in case it was bad.
Yeah. So we all basically wanted to. And we all were like, no, I should go first in case it's dangerous. No, I should go first in case it's dangerous. So we just rolled to see who would go first. Cricket goes first.
A wise decision.
Actually, my wisdom is 9.
No, I mean on behalf of the party.
Yeah.
Use the expendable character.
No, there's a dice roll. But anyway, I totally agree with it. Now, in order to get your prophetic dream, you take your best mental stat and do a roll based on that.
Not everyone can handle it.
Yeah.
Right.
To see whether you get anything good. Now, my wisdom is 9. And I mentioned that because that's one of the things we were talking about. The wisdom is for the wisdom for interpreting, the charisma for enduring, and the intelligence for...
Well, it's kind of like the intelligence you don't get as good of a vision because you can grasp, but you can understand it better. You use your brain and like figure out something and like understand it, but then you don't get like the breadth because you can just grasp onto something. Wisdom is like the best. You're just kind of like... It just flows in. Yeah. And charisma, you get a more intense, emotionful prophecy, but it may be a lot harder to understand.
So charisma is my best stat, but I rolled terribly. Absolutely terrible. So I just wake up screaming. So I failed at sleeping. That was sort of the funny thing of the night is that, you know, our big quest this time around was to try sleeping, and some of us didn't succeed.
Yeah, so it's kind of a scarring emotional experience.
Yeah.
If you fail, you basically get rules based as a disease, but you get a thing where all your skills are reduced, and you have to save out of it because it's just it's just a disturbing experience, like if your house burned down or that kind of thing, right? It messes with you.
Like watching a Rob Zombie movie.
A while to get over it.
Yeah, probably Cricket's dream was like one of Verona's going, "You're not very good at this." And she's like, "Ah." So anyway, who went next? Was it Aurora that went next, I think?
No, Hank went next.
Hank went next.
And he...
Oh yeah, he did fine.
They had pre-rolled this time. They discovered they could pre-roll their things to see who should go.
Using that ability of Aurora's where you roll 3 d20 and that's your next 3 d20 rolls. We're going to do that. So Hank, his roll sequence was 18-3 blah. Something like that. I know 18 was the first one. And so he was like, "Oh, let me sleep. Out of the way, everyone. I'm gonna sleep. I'm gonna knock this out of the park." So he goes to sleep and he uses his 18 on the roll. And so he's doing great, but then...
And I was like, and now you have to roll for Dastria. Because he has 2 minds in his head. He has Hank and Dastria.
And it's like, oh, okay, what's my next roll? A 3. Oh dear. So he wakes up screaming.
But he did get a bit of a vision first, which was he saw Aurora crushing a bunch of void stuff, but then it wasn't Aurora after all, and it was about to reveal what it was when Dastria started screaming her face off, and then they woke up.
Yeah. So once again, elves ruin everything. Dastria being an elf soul and all. Though, as I keep pointing out, only originally an elf soul, most recently a Myremaid soul.
Well, she's an elf soul that spent a lot of time in a Myremaid's body joined to it, so she's got some Myremaidiness too. Hence why Hank now is always trying to take over being the party cook from Cricket.
So who's up next? Was it Serendipity, Van Gogh, Storm, Aurora, Topper, Tower, Chef, Still, Doom Player? I know we were sort of hesitant to have Aurora go on this vision quest because she's got a fragment of the Void Monster in her, and we were like, maybe we should not let the Void Monster have a vision quest.
It was a serendipity next to it.
Yeah, she goes to the sacred grove. It's like, it's got this statue of this old...
Sir Lemuel, one of the Knights of the Banner from World Building.
And he's got like tears continuously flowing out of his eyes and it's making a stream and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, the grove first appeared because the statue at his grave started weeping, and the trees grew strong there, and then they discovered it was a magical prophecy grove. I
speculated that the tears are because there's like a broken pipe underneath the statue or something, but serendipity, and goes to more top of her tire receptors, Blair, arrives in the grove and immediately starts wizarding up the place, and she's like, oh yeah, I see all the intricate lines and stuff, this is how it works. All the mysticism, here.
Right.
Turns out this is a place where a bunch of the, because time is a 4-dimensional surface in 5 dimensions, it's a bunch of, it's all folded up here, and that's why you can get prophetic visions, because you can like touch all these other places really easily. And it turns out that the statue is weeping because it's just teleporting tears and replicating tears from the moment when Sir Lemuel died to the present. It's just stuck. There's a connection point, and the tears aren't making the magic. It's just a side effect of the same magic of just this place is magical.
So they're actual Sir Lemuel tears. I figured, wow, he produced a lot.
Are they his tears or the tears of other people?
No, they're his tears. They're getting replicated somehow, so it's
some kind of time
duplicate.
Time duplication of his tears.
Cool.
This Sir Lemuel guy sounds like a sissy.
More like Sir Lemuel.
No, he wussily got wiped out by the colossal apocalypse that destroyed all magic users.
Yeah, so she went in and Doctor Who'd all the magic, and
and then she had a nap, and she knocked it out of the park on that as well, I think, if I remember correctly.
She succeeded anyway.
Yeah, she got a good vision. Now, I can't remember what her vision was all about.
She asked what Hank's vision was about.
Right.
Because you can ask and you may not get what you ask.
Yeah.
That reminds me. She also figured out that all the spells that work where like you can ask questions of mystic sages and all this stuff, they all just work on the same principle. You're connecting to future times and other places and getting the information. Anyway, she asked about Hank's vision, and she saw Hank's vision, and then she saw, it wasn't Aurora in the vision at all, but it was someone else that reminded her of Aurora. And then she saw Aurora's constellation, the broken tree, except that there's a star in it that she had never seen before, and one of the stars was missing, the same one that was missing in the present.
Aurora's brother is the star that's missing, and presumably the star that was there is Aurora herself. Yeah, the new star that was there. That's our interpretation, or the obvious assumptions to make, or whatever.
And the vision was about the thing that they thought was Aurora, but turned out to be this other thing, was destroying a bunch of void creatures.
Which is good. So not super helpful. I mean, I can think of some interpretations of it that sort of dovetail in with some of what we've been doing, but I don't know if any of it is actually giving us, ideas for like, well, we should do this or that. I think we're going to just carry on with our original plan.
No, he didn't want to go in for all this stupid elf hippie crap.
Yeah.
Proper elves use magic, none of this, like, granola, bark jerky nonsense.
Yeah. And then it was Process's turn. And, he was the one that knocked it out of the park. He did this fantastic roll.
He got 50 on an ability check.
Wow.
Yeah. And it totally makes sense, because, this is a dreaming thing. How good are you at dreaming? I do it all the time. So his vision. Why am I blanking on these visions?
His vision, I told him he could have whatever dream he wanted.
Yeah.
Because he got
50.
And he said that, and then we broke.
Oh, right, so he hasn't actually has it yet.
And he's considering running a one-off session of his vision.
So he'd be the DM and we'd all be running characters in it?
Yeah, related to his dream.
Fantastic.
Matthias Randall!
Oh, yeah. One other fun little thing that happened for Cricket, she snapped at Croesus. He was going on his thing about how, you're not really a non-person, you're just crazy. And she snapped at him about how you've been trying to break me since the first moment we met, and it's not going to work. I'm not going to. It was great. I love being able to do that finally to Croesus. I think no one else was paying attention, but they should have been, because that's totally what I would do to them if they didn't own me.